Hello everybody, this is Nady. Well, now that the draft is concluded, first I just want to say I'm sorry that this is like a week or two after our draft, but I've just been really busy lately, so I haven't really gotten a good time to really do this and focus fully on it. So now that our draft is concluded, we can add and drop players and trade them. So I just was thinking that it would be easier to do a video of me demonstrating what you do. It would be a little bit easier to understand it instead of reading it from an email. So when you're on the Fantrax site, obviously you go to your league, and then let's say when you go on, you go down under here where it shows your injured players. See right there, it shows injury report, and it shows your players that are injured, what team they're on, their position, the type of injury, and the status. If it's like a day-to-day injury, if it's like if they're on like on the 15-day DL, if they're on it for like a month or 60 days, or let's say they're out for the season, and it shows when they got injured. So let's say Justin Verlander, God forbid, needed to have Tommy John surgery, and it shows that he's out for the season. Obviously, I would want to drop him for another starting pitcher. So you then go over here to players, right up here, press on players, and it shows all of the players that are available. Over here, you can look at all of the hitters, all of the pitchers, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, corner infield, middle infield, outfield, starting pitcher, relief pitcher. So obviously Verlander is a starting pitcher. So you press starting pitcher, you see all the pitchers that are available. It shows, let's say you want to look at their stats, and just like in general, if you want to see let's say what's a good example? Let's say Irvin Santana, a pitcher who has been very good in his career, hasn't been good the last few seasons. So let's say you want to watch that player and see how he's doing. You can press on this little eyeball. It adds a player to your watch list. Let's say you want to compare a player. So let's say you then press on this compare list, and then let's say I wanted to compare him to Danny Duffy. So right here where it shows status, press on that. You go down and you can look at all the players that are available, all of the injured players. I don't know why that's there. Would want to look at the injured players. Your watch list and compare list. So you go to watch list, and it shows all the players that you added to your watch list. So you want to go to compare list, and you can compare players that are on your team too. Let's say let's say Verlander had a month where he was playing terrible, and I wanted to drop him. I could then add him to the compare list, compare him with a guy that I might want to add. So here's Danny Duffy and Irvin Santana. Compares their projected stats for the season. Obviously, you can see they project Danny Duffy to be a little bit better. So it shows their projected games played, and this is just for now. But once the season starts, it'll show all the games that they've been in, all the games that they've started, their wins, their innings pitched, the hits that they've given up, the walks they've given up, how many strikeouts they've had, how many saves, what their ERA and their WHIP is. You can do the same thing with hitters. You can go back up here to all available players. You can look at the hitters, and it'll show how many games that they've been in, their at-bats, their runs scored, how many hits that they've gotten, how many home runs they've hit, how many RBIs they've driven in, how many stolen bases that they have, and what their batting average is. And usually like right up over here or something, it'll show you can look at the last game, the last week, the last 30 days, up to the last 60 days in baseball, and it'll show their stats for that time. That's usually what I've done in the past. So to show you exactly how that is, I'll go to my fantasy basketball league. I'll show you more about that. See right here, it shows 1, 7, 14. then you press like 1 and it'll show their stats from the last game that they've played. It's for basketball, so I don't want to confuse you. But, yeah. So, let's say I wanted to drop Verlander. Let's say Yu Darvish wasn't injured and I saw him here. I'd probably be dancing if he was a free agent and if he wasn't injured. So let's say I wanted to add him. See this green little T right there? That white T outlined in green? You press that. And then right here it shows who it is that you're adding. You can just look up a player too in here. You can just type in their name by last name first, comma, whatever their first name is. And here's your team. It shows all of your players and stuff. Let's say so then Verlander, let's say he had Tommy John surgery. God forbid. I'd press on him. I would then press submit transaction. And then right up here it would show who I'm dropping, who I'm adding, where I want them to be in. So let's say I wanted him to be in P, I'd put him there. Injured reserve, or active list. I'll do reserve. And then let's say I want to drop Verlander, but let's say this is towards the beginning of the season and Verlander has his first 3 starts are terrible. And let's say Yu Darvish, for some reason, is still on the board as available. You can, and if Verlander gets injured, but it's not a serious injury, you could do, you can go over here, and it would give you an option of move to injured reserve. It doesn't for me because I already have the maximum amount of players of it in the injured reserve list that are possible in a league, so I can't. But let's say, but yeah, it would show move to injured reserve, and then you would press submit. You would press OK, and then it would show you've successfully dropped Justin Verlander for Yu Darvish, or you've successfully moved Justin Verlander to injured reserve and added Yu Darvish. Or if it gives you an illegal roster, it'll show you it gives you an illegal roster, so you then have to go back to your team, and then you'd have to configure it to how it has to be. But yeah, and when you're looking at your team, if you want to look to see who's been bad, who's been good, you can go over here. It shows go back 1 game, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, and 60 days. Let's say just from here you wanted to just drop somebody. Let's say I